Zohar Pekudei, Reckonings, Exodus 38:21 to 30:38. These are the reckonings of the dwelling of testimony, that were reckoned by the mouth of Moses. Rabbi Hia opened. All the streams flow to the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place the streams flow, there they continue to flow. This verse has been established and discussed, but all the streams, mysteries of holy streams and springs, full and gushing, holy springs illumining and filling this great sea. Once this great sea is filled by those streams, it overflows and waters all beasts of the field. As it said, they water all beasts of the field, what is written previously, letting loose springs and streams, and afterward, they water all beasts of the field, those chariots below. For when the sea gathers them, it gathers them all, drawing them in. And then it issues water in the other direction, the holy chariots below watering them. All of these counted and reckoned by name, as is said, he calls them each by name. Therefore, these are the reckonings of the dwelling. Rabbi Hia links this opening verse of the Torah portion to the verse in Ecclesiastes. The streams symbolize the spheres flowing into the sea of Shechina, the vivifying waters below. This is the spiritual organ of Malchut, the feminine counterpart, the feminine component of the 10 spiritual organs. The waters pool here, and then they're distributed to the angelic beasts of the field. Shechina, who is also symbolized by the dwelling, or the tabernacle, counts and reckons all of these lower forces. As intimated by the wording, these are the reckonings of the dwellings. The Shechina is considered the life source of all souls, and hence this also fits into that. The verse reads, these are Pekudei, the reckonings, or inventory, tally, records, accounting of the dwelling of testimony, that were reckoned by the mouth or words of Moses. The service of Levites in the hand of Itamar, son of Aaron the priest. The verses in Ecclesiastes reads, all the streams flow to the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the streams flow, there they flow back again, or to the place the streams flow, there they continue to flow. The simple sense of the verse may reflect the popular belief that the water flowing into the sea from rivers flows back. Those rivers through. Here, Rabbi Hia understands it to mean that the waters continue to flow into the sea. On earlier rabbinic interpretations of the verse, see Koheles Rabbah. In the Zohar, it is frequently expounded in these places. The context in Psalms reads, letting loose springs and streams among the mountains they go. They water all beasts of the field. Wild asses slake their thirst. The full verse in Isaiah, referring originally to the stars and constellations, reads, lift your eyes on high and see, who created these? The one who brings forth their array by number and calls them each by name. Because of his great might and vast power, not one is missing. The text continues. These are the reckonings of the dwelling. Rabbi Yossi opened. How abundant your goodness that you have hidden for those, all of you, that you have wrought for those who shelter in you before the eyes of humankind. How abundant is your goodness. How deeply humans should know and contemplate the ways of the Blessed Holy One, for every single day a voice issues proclaiming, beware, inhabitants of the world. Lock the doors of sin. Keep away from the seizing net before your feet are caught. Here it seems like this supernal place is admonishing the world to keep their doors locked from sin. On the image of the net, see Pirkei Avos, 3:16. In the name of Rabbi Akiva, all is given on pledge, and a net is spread over all the living. The store is open, and the storekeeper gives credit. The ledger is open, and the hand writes. Whoever wishes to borrow may come and borrow, but the collectors go around regularly every day and exact payment from the person, whether or not he realizes, and they have authority on which they can rely, and the judgment is true, and all is prepared for the banquet. The ledger and the hand that writes correspond to the good deeds that we are meant to do because our time is borrowed. Or perhaps that would be my interpretation. A wheel spins constantly, ascending and descending. Woe to those whose feet are pushed away from the wheel. They fall into the depth, concealed for the wicked of the world. Woe to those who fall, never to rise and be illumined by the light treasure await for the righteous. Happy are the righteous in the world that is coming, for many lights are stored away for them, many delights concealed for them in that world, as is written. How abundant your goodness that you have hidden for those in awe of you. How abundant your goodness as they have established. The light treasured away for the righteous in the world that is coming. As is written, God saw the light, that it was good. And it is written, light is sown for the righteous, joy for the upright in heart. Thus, how abundant your goodness. Here is written, how abundant your goodness. God saw the light, that it was good. That you have hidden for the blessed Holy One gazed by that light, and saw the wicked who were destined to sin in the world. So he hid that light away for the righteous to attain in the world that is coming, as has been said. The image of the wheel includes elements of the celestial sphere, which spins constantly, and the wheel of fate, ascending and descending. Those whose feet are pushed, or who push their feet away from the wheel, are those who stray from proper conduct. According to Rabbi Yossi, the goodness that God has hidden for the righteous is identical with the primordial light that was good and was hidden away. With the light created by the Blessed Holy One on the first day, one can gaze and see from one end of the universe to the other. When the Holy One foresaw the corruption of the generation of Enosh and the generation of the flood, he hid it away from them. As is written, the light of the wicked is withheld. This light, according to another place in the Zohar, is said to be concealed in the covenant, which is a euphemism for the male member, meaning to keep it protected and sacred and holy. That you have wrought, first you have hidden, and then you have wrought. Well, you have hidden, as has been said, you have wrought, for with the light that he hid away, the Blessed Holy One wrought the artistry of the world. How do we know, as is written, these are the generations of heaven and earth? Bebehudai behibareim, when they were created. Be'avraham, through Avraham. That light of Abraham was hidden away by the Blessed Holy One, and with it he wrought artistry, as is written, that you have wrought. For those who shelter in you, for those who sit beneath the shade of the Blessed Holy One, before the eyes of humankind, for through the artistry fashioned by this light, humans exist in the world. It is their existence, their sustenance. Although it is hidden away, people thereby endure in the world. That you have wrought artistry of the world, for thereby all was fashioned precisely artistry of the world, corresponding to the artistry of the dwelling, whose artistry resembles the world, because the dwelling, the tabernacle, is considered a microcosm of the world. As we have established, here is written, these are the reckonings of the dwelling, and there is written of the generation of heaven and earth. For all those generations produced by heaven and earth were produced by the power of the hidden light, and the reckonings of the dwelling issue from that power. How do we know? As is written, Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, from the right side, and with him was Oholiab from the left side. The dwelling was erected and formed from left and right, and Moses, who was between them, erected it, meaning he single-handedly put everything up after they were constructed. An interesting concordance can be seen here between the construction of the tabernacle and the generations of the flood, whose sins led God to hide away the power of the light. The dwelling corresponds to the entire world. Rabbi Yossi demonstrates this by a verbal analogy between the verse in Exodus and the verse in Genesis, both of which open with the word ele, these. Both the world and the dwelling were formed by the power of the hidden light. Bezalel was the chief artisan of the dwelling, and several elements of his full name allude to the primordial light of Chesed on the right side. First of all, the name Bezalel can be read as Betzalel, in the shadow of God, and the divine name El alludes to Chesed. His father's name Uri derives from Ur, light, while his grandfather's name Hur suggests Aramaic Hivar, white. Bezalel's associate Oholiab was from the tribe of Dan, whose name derives from Din, judgment, signifying the left side. Thus the dwelling was comprised of both left and right. Moses symbolized Tiferes, the mediating sphere, the middle sphere. So he balanced the polar opposites and finally erected the tabernacle. On the correspondence between the dwelling and the cosmos, we have many sources here. The context in Exodus reads, Bezalel, son of Uri, son of Hur, from the tribe of Judah, made all that God had commanded Moses, and with him was Oholiab, son of Achisamach, from the tribe of Dan, carver and designer and embroiderer in violet, purple, and crimson, and in linen. The term violet, purple, and crimson referred to dyed yarns. On Tcheles violet, see the notes there. Rabbi Elazar opened, in love will a throne be established, and he will sit upon it in truth, judging and seeking justice and zealous for righteousness. In love will a throne be established as we have established. When thought arises, his will from concealed, of all unknown and ungrasped, that joy teaches and strikes thought, which then enters where it enters until it is treasured away in a certain supernal place concealed above. From there flow all lights to the right, which absorbs first, and then they all absorb. From that right side, the throne below is established. From the Blessed Holy One, established the throne in love. He will sit upon it in truth, perfection of the seal of all. He sits upon the throne only with the seal, which is truth. In the tent of David, the throne below, judging and seeking justice and zealous for the righteous. Judging from the side of judgment and seeking justice from the side of compassion and zealous for righteousness, throne of judgment, which is the lower court. Come and see, similarly, the dwelling was established only on the side of love, as we have said. Thus generations were enumerated and all of them established below.